What's up, Kingdom of Rock? This is Matt Gibson for another exciting music industry, tech, and business-filled episode. I'm here today with my co-host, the fabulous Michael Molenda. How's it going, Mike?
Good. I'm happy. It's going to be a fun one today. Lots of knowledge to share.
Dude, you must like Trubify because you dressed up quite spiffy for the occasion today.
Well, I don't want any of our other guests to think that I don't appreciate them either, but I think that, I think it was just laundry day. I don't think you wanted to see me in the bad T-shirt that I walked the dogs in this morning.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. You look good, man. Stephen Tyszka. Okay, wait. Tyszka.
Tyszka, you got it.
Okay, I got it right, and then I looked at it. I'm like, I'm going to screw this up, right?
This is part of being on the show, Stephen, because Matt typically calls you Gloria or Ralph or something.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, that's right.
So I'm honored that we got pretty close.
Yeah.
Well, Stephen is the CEO of a music streaming company called Trubify, and obviously he's a metal fan a little bit, so that's good. That's why we like him. Lots of guitars back there. Yep, he's our kind of people.
Those are the ones my wife let me keep.
Oh, gotcha.
But as we talked on the show for quite a while, as Kingdom of Rock knows, and Stephen, hopefully you know as well, it's like the whole streaming mess has been an interesting problem for artists who are at home. The not being able to gig thing has been devastating, although some venues are starting to open up. So your team has kind of tried to solve these things. Even I know that it came out pre-pandemic, but it seems like the perfect thing for the post-zombie apocalypse world. So why don't you give us a little bit of a bio about Trubify and what you're trying to do, and then we'll dig into the details.
That sounds great. I'll give you a real short about my background because it makes sense why we're doing this. So, lifelong musician. My aunt was the voice of Snow White. I moved to Hollywood in the 90s to pursue music professionally. Had a studio off of Sunset, was performing up and down the strip every night, have hundreds of song credits, and I was a starving artist. And, and I saw that was pretty much everyone in the business, unless you were one of the lucky few like GNR, got recognized at the Coconut Teaser. We used to play that once or twice a week, and unless you were one of the lucky, that was it. So I got into technology development, which was my second love, and started building companies with some really great business partners. We built a couple successful ones, and they were solving problems in financial technologies, in data tech, and in influencer marketing. And then I realized, we could use technology to solve problems in the music industry. So I jumped to a plane to Costa Rica, sat on the beach, and started listing out all the problems in the music industry that actually could be solved with technology. And we bubbled up to the top, the most important ones to solve that were viable, ready to be solved. And most of them are the fact that most artists have marketable, monetizable skills, but they can't earn a living because the business structures aren't there. The digital technology isn't there for them to use. Artists haven't been getting paid fairly over at YouTube. They perform these wonderful cover songs and get millions of viewers, and YouTube has demonetized them. And if you stream cover songs over on Twitch, you get deplatformed, you get banned. And you stream your cover songs on Instagram and Facebook, and the same thing, they shut you down. And the problem is that unless you're, Justin Bieber and Taylor Swift, typically the majority of the songs that you're trying to present out there are a lot of cover songs. So that was just one of the main problems that we solved, was how to get cover songs back into monetizing ability, make them monetizable. We did that by negotiating with publishers and performance rights organizations, and a couple other problems that I'm sure we'll get into today. I think you're muted there.
Sorry, I saw Mike had muted, and normally we don't mute, but I thought there might be some feedback, so I muted.
There's dog feedback.
Oh, dog feedback. Gotcha.
It's proof positive that I can mess up any technology in the known world.
Well, actually, that's not true, because Mike streamed live on Trubify his band rehearsal the other day, and there was some phenomenal surf rock coming out of my computer and phone. So you did quite a good job over there.
Well, thanks. And just news for everybody out there in the Kingdom of Rock, I made more money streaming my little live surf band rehearsal to just a few people than I would have made with probably 2,000 or 3,000 Spotify downloads, I would imagine, right? Yeah.
So I should probably jump into, Matt, I'm sorry, maybe you had a question, but I should probably explain that because that's
Yeah, go ahead.
So what we did is we built a live streaming music platform. And when I say live streaming, I mean live music streaming, meaning you go live and you're on just like we're doing here and you can perform. And we have everyone from a kid who can play Eruption note for note behind his head from mom's basement to professional working artists at arenas and venues. And a lot of them, it's really cool because what we basically done to make this monetizable is we pay out 2 cents per live viewer, 1 cent per archive viewer. That means after you go live, you can save your stream. And we have a nice little fancy home screen where artists or where fans can discover more music. The platform's built on business intelligence. So we learn what kind of music you like, and we serve more and more of what you like to discover new artists and other artists that you're going to love. And that actually monetizes the artist with those 2 cent and 1 cent per viewer payouts. There's also a tipping revenue stream in there that's live today. And what we did there was innovative because a lot of these other apps that allow you to tip, you have to either enter a credit card or a PayPal or you Venmo or whatever you do. And it's not like that on Trubify. We integrated the Apple and Google in-app purchase technology. So a fan now can tip you with a single tap.
Nice.
Yeah, it's seamless. They never leave the stream. They keep watching the stream. And then you as the artist gets to see when they tip you, you get a highlighted message. And you'll often hear the artist, "Oh my God, Michael, thank you so much for the tip. What song would you like to hear next?"
Right.
And then there's a leaderboard at the top. And we already see tipping wars where the top fan wants to prove they're the biggest fan. And these 2 tippers or 3 tippers are going back and forth. And the next thing you know, the guys are making $20 for a song because the tippers are just trying to be the king. It's really fun.
So, okay. So I'm thinking about, obviously we compare when we hear about new technology and things, right? So like, I really like the idea that you're using kind of that Amazon model of one click, make the money happen, which is brilliant. And which I don't understand why people on all the social media platforms have taken so long to drag their feet about that. It's crazy. So that's a great feature. As far as like, comparing it to like Patreon or some of the other services out here that are creating artist ecosystems that are artist based, how do you stack up against those type of companies? What's the contrast there?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we actually have a Patreon like patronage feature that's in development that comes in a couple months from now. And what that'll do is fans can subscribe to an artist channel. And that's a monthly recurring donation, if you will. And the artist can set that value to what their audience will bear. So if you're a celebrity artist, it's going to be a little bit different than if you're, a high schooler with, your softball buddies watching you. And but what that entitles you to is we're building a feature called Backstage Pass. And what the Backstage Pass is you can go live for free to the whole nation. And after you do 35-minute set, you can go, okay, I'm going to take you backstage. I'm going to introduce you to my 3-legged dog, Lucky, show you the new guitar, and play my brand new song that no one in the world's ever heard before. Oh, but you have to have a backstage pass to see that. So if you're a patron of that artist, you automatically have access, or you'll get a little pop-up that says for 99 cents, come and join the party backstage. And again, those monies are routed to the artist's pockets.
I like that.
And I just want to say again, so it doesn't get lost to anybody watching this, is 2 cents per live view, 1 cent per archive view. That, 2 cents doesn't sound like a lot, but considering what we're all making on streaming, that is pretty amazing. And the thing I love about this from a sense of, being kind of a punk rock hippie, the community, as the community expands, the opportunity to make money expands. So it's kind of like we all have to join in together, support other musicians, download the free app, find your buddies, find your passion, support everybody, and boom, there we are. But that's just one part of it, because as Stephen has said, there's a lot of things going on that kind of help you monetize, which is another thing that, your company is actually helping musicians, even if you're a marketing idiot, you're putting it right in front of their face about, here's some things you might want to try to further, extend your reach?
So I'm so glad you said that, because that leads to our next feature, which is just getting finished by the developers now. It'll probably, by the time it goes through QA and gets launched, it'll be probably 4 to 6 weeks. But we have a ticketing feature, and this is so cool. And let me explain it. It's not your typical ticketing feature. What happens? So these are virtual events. You live stream them on Trubify. But what happens is when you set up an event, you name the time and the date. You name the exclusivity. If you want to have 300 people or 300,000 people, you set the threshold so that you can, give supply and demand to your audience, make it exciting if you want it to be a special show. And when you do this, you upload an image and a description and a title. We generate your marketing assets for you automatically in Trubify. And then with a single tap, you can share it to your social media. So we handle all the marketing for you, right? And actually with our partnered artists, and right now we invite artists, we're about to launch a campaign to invite artists to join Trubify as a partner artist, where we'll actually help to boost those posts. In other words, we'll actually give you a budget to boost your post to bring over your fans to watch them live. So 2 things I want to unpack on this. One is people say, why are you going to give me a budget to market my concert? Well, we would rather give the artist the money than Facebook the money. If we're going to spend X amount of dollars on marketing, it's so much better to put it right in the artist's hands than to give it to Facebook. That's number one. But number 2, music business. This is where it breaks down for artists that are trying to monetize their career. They're focused on the music, which is a lot of work, and not all artists are business savvy. So Trubify acts as a digital concierge, if you will, or a digital business manager, where when you set up a concert, we promote it. It's on the home screen of the app. We create marketing assets automatically when you set up that event. And then with a tap, you can share it with your social media networks. And if you're a partnered artist, we'll even put our own marketing dollars behind your show. No other app is doing this.
So I like this idea because it allows you to chew up a whole bunch of open market share out there of people that are doing business badly. And I think that makes complete sense to me. I like that. That's cool.
Yeah, well,
Thank you. So,
I mean, again, it's like for the community that we're trying to serve, that during a pandemic has been so beaten to crap. No streaming money is almost non-existent. Gigs are almost non-existent. And, we've all had the time, as Matt and I have tried to bring knowledge through guests such as yourself, to get our marketing mojo together. But as you said, a lot don't. So being able to, be able to, see a chance to earn a viable living at this, and also be kind of pulled into whatever else they can do to help, expand their audiences is great. And you have other things down. I mean, I don't know if you can talk about it, but I know there's other things coming down the pike to even further help musicians market themselves.
Yeah, I can hint to those things. Those are patented technologies that are in development, and I'll get into that. But, the big reason that Trubify is different is I'm a lifelong musician. Like I said, I played up and down the Strip every day for years. I struggled. I know what it was like. When I first moved to Hollywood, I busked on the corner of Hollywood and Highland with my guitar case, moving from corner to corner. Every time the police would walk down, I'd move to the other corner just so I could cover my studio rent, because I had a studio off of Sunset. And, it's a really tough living as an artist to make. And most artists, they're working at Starbucks or the restaurant or whatever day job they have, So because we are artists, and my partner, the founding team, we're all artists. My other partner, Brian Lau, the chief operating officer, he was the founder of a record label, indie rock record label, before he got into technology development a dozen years ago. So we actually know what it's like. We know what the problems are. We know what the issues are. We are musicians. We made it for musicians by musicians. And then as far as the future, we were talking about some of the innovative technology. So we built Trubify on I guess I should back up a second. My partner, Brian, comes from a data backend technology development systems. He builds big scale, he used to build and deploy large scale customer, enterprise level customer management systems, and a lot of different things to serve sales life cycles. And so he realized that there was a lot of connections that we could integrate into serving the artist. And so one of them is that our business intelligence engine is listening and watching what you're doing. And I don't mean like in a creepy way. I mean, it knows like what kind of music you like. It knows, what kind of artists you like or don't like, or you have a tendency towards hi-fi or you like lo-fi. And the intelligence engine is understanding your persona as a fan, as a listener, and also as an artist. And the reason that that's significant is that the artificial intelligence machine learning component of the technology is able to, number one, match make artists and fans that you're going to love each other and you've never heard of each other. You never would have found each other otherwise. But more importantly, this is where the monetization gets really rich for these artists. We are working with top brands like Moog keyboards, Kala ukulele, and right now we're in discussions. I don't want to mention any of the partners that we are still negotiating with, but they're literally the top music brands in the world, and that's both instruments as well as electronics and headsets and microphones and everything, even actually with brands like clothing brands, because as you wear and promote, meaning you wear their clothing on stream or you use their guitar or their amp or their microphone, those brands want to sponsor you as that artist on those streams. So we will broker those deals on behalf of the artist, acting as your digital agency, if you will. So everyone now can become an influencer, whether a nano influencer, micro influencer, or a macro influencer. We handle those deals and give you a beautiful share of that revenue.
But if somebody says, because the influencer thing is interesting. Okay, I've only been able to get 100 people to see me. I mean, so am I out of the influencer deal then? Because I'm just a tiny little singer-songwriter?
So that's a great question. And this is, again, where it's exciting for these smaller artists, which there's, tens of thousands of. So Instagram did a study of 100,000 influencers. What they found is if you had 1,000 or less followers, you had a 7.2 time greater conversion and impact into your audience than if you had 100,000 or more followers. The reason is because the smaller your following size, the more intimate and close you are, the more influence you have over them. Because they're probably people you work with, you play softball, you went to school with, they're in your band, whatever it is. And so what we've done is the technology allows us to validate all of these campaigns at scale for the brands. So now, instead of a brand like, I'll just say Coca-Cola or Fender going out and working with Justin Bieber's of the world, they're not working with 1,000 artists that have under 1,000 followers because they can't track those campaigns across all these platforms. But on Trubify, because of our business intelligence engine, it's tracking all of those campaigns. So now if you have 100 followers, 10 followers, 1,000 followers, we can get you deals with those brands, and your income from those brands will scale according to the size of your following. But no longer now is anyone left out because of the size of their following. That's extremely innovative, and it's so cool for the artists.
So let me ask you this question. So that makes me think of something. I think one of the biggest things that is different in the music industry today from the music industry of the past is there's no paid artist development. Like labels don't pay for it. It's like you got YouTube, you got podcasts, you got books, figure it out. When you get big enough, come see us, right? Do you guys nurture artists and do artist development so that the community it gets stronger and then you can take more market share? I'm thinking like a super business. I'm building a tech startup with Mike. Mike and I are building a tech startup together. And it's like, I'm just thinking of the scale of this because you could really, if you help the artists like that, you could really make some awesome market share and become almost your own entity out there.
Yes, and we are. So we have an A&R team. We have an artist relations team that works closely with the artists. We actually troll the app for great artists, and we'll reach out to them directly. So one of the things is when you register for Trubify, we ask for your phone number and email. And some people, they get maybe a little scared about that. There's nothing to be scared about. But the reason we do that is because when we find great artists, well, there's two reasons. One is that some of our artists, when they make any artist who makes over $600, they need to file, they need to pay taxes on that. That's a federal, regulation. So if you make over $600, we just send you a little form to fill out, and then we'll get you your taxes taken care of, so that you're compliant with the IRS. Which is, we want to have you make significant revenues. Some of our artists, hopefully thousands or many thousands a month. That's the goal of the app. But also it's so that we can reach out to you. We reach out to you because we think you're a great artist. and we want to help you to develop your skills. And that could be working with our AR team. That could be us bringing you into one of our existing programs, even creating programs around certain artists if they're really fantabulous. And like I said, we'll put our own marketing dollars behind that so that you don't have to go work your 9 to 5. Focus on your music, get better. Let us get you sponsors so you get the free guitar and you get the free microphone and you get the free analog to digital interface so that your audio can be pristine. Those are the things that Trubify does. We are doing things really, again, because we're an artist platform, we're artist first and we're artist centric. You're not competing against grandma's 80th birthday cake or cute cat videos. And that means that when the brands come and sponsor these, everyone knows what they're doing. We're all here for the same thing. So, and actually there's one more point of that. Again, we're in negotiation, so I can't mention the label name. It's one of the biggest labels in the world. Everyone has heard of them for sure. And they talk to us because they want to know who the up and coming artists are. Because of our rich data back end that I was talking about, the business intelligence, we see artists, if they start growing their user base, their tipping revenue, their views and their followers, 20% week after week, every show they're going up. These labels want to know who they are because they want to get a hold of these guys before they get snatched up by another label. So there are a lot of things we're doing. We're talking about in the future, building out our own publishing house, our own label, and being able to publish and get these artists really into the really out there.
Yeah,
that's approach.
Awesome. Well, I mean, I think, but what Matt was talking about too is, when I was at Guitar Player, I would get emails all the time, why aren't my YouTube videos working? Or, then you'd see clams or wearing the wrong clothes or just being too creepy or too weird. And they're inviting someone with experience to go, well, maybe if you tried this or tried that. And I think that, what Matt and I are always looking at is, who does that today? Because it's not like Motown where they had to go to finishing school and learn how to hold a microphone and all that. A lot of artists today are on their own. So,
yes.
Not that we're expecting Trubify or anybody else to do that, but it does seem like there's, there are actually artists out there who do want to learn how to do it better. And for your app, because it's casual at the moment, as people are in their bedrooms or blah, blah, blah. And it's, it becomes more important to have that charisma going on at the point of wherever you're at, bedroom, living room, out playing in the backyard.
And our co-founder and chief brand officer, Crystal Desant, who all the beautiful art you see, comes from her and her direction. She's actually right now putting together how to optimize your streams for artists. She's putting together a PDF manual that's really simple and it's pictures. And it says, everything from, buy this $29 light on Amazon and here's how you position it. And, here's a $49 interface you can plug into your phone and get better audio. And, here's how you position your mic and yourself. And so we're building out, and we even have like how to optimize your revenue guides. So we're actually creating resources for the artists so that they can really dig in and they can actually we're going to provide the platform and the resources for artists to take their talents as far as they're willing to work for them. And I want to level set also expectations. We have spent 0 ad dollars thus far. We haven't started marketing the app. As I said before, we're going to start scaling the platform with users in a few months. We have about 3,000 users right now, and these are our earliest adopters. They're going to do really well. And if you're watching the podcast, please come join Trubify for 2 reasons. One is help us build this platform, this movement, this community, this revolution in the music scene. But also, the early adopters are going to be the ones that are going to do the best in the long run. Imagine being one of the first 10,000 YouTube uploaders. You become OG on the platform. And the community is really loving. But please join the app, but also understand that we are still developing. In the next 4 months, we'll start bringing on artist programs. Those are in the works. They're being scheduled as we speak. And then we'll start, really pumping the user base. But there's a lot of great features and great quality streaming tools that are already available to the artists today.
All right. So I love that. I'm going to be a skeptic here. This is my one hard question I'm going to throw at you. I've heard a lot of, systems where it's like, all right, we've got this new great artist community and we're going to help each other and we're going to do it. and it's cool. It looks cool. You go in there, it's just a bunch of musicians in there complaining that nobody's here, right? And they're all talking to each other, but there's no people that aren't musicians, or there are maybe a few, but it's kind of lame. You know, it's just a bunch of musicians hanging out in an app going, where's the people? What are your plans to get the general public to view all these things and throw money at everybody, so to speak?
Perfect
Okay.
question. Perfect question. I have a great answer. So right now, the way you described it is where we're starting, right? It's like chicken and egg, right? You got to put inventory on the shelf before you open the doors to the customers. So we have a bunch of great artists on there now. But what we're doing is this. Number one, remember all those digital event tickets I was talking about, that system? And I said, we generate your marketing assets for you with a single tap. You send it to all your social media. And we're also going to pay, our sponsored artists, give them budgets so that they can boost those posts so that they incentivize their fans. And here's why they would want to come. So if you have 5,000 or 50,000 followers, and we have both of those types of artists on Trubify today. We have people on Trubify that have 100 followers on Instagram. We have a guy that has 100,000 followers on Instagram. They're incentivized to share this with their audience because they're going to monetize the heck out of Trubify with their 2 cent and 1 cent per viewer payouts, with their automated, single tap tipping feature. The tips just flow. Already we're seeing tips launched 90 days ago. Our assumptions are being absolutely blown out of the water. We can't believe the amount of tips that are flowing through the system and how supportive, because it's one tap. And so what happens is the artist, as they earn significant revenues, concurrently with the size of their following, with us handling the heavy lifting of the marketing assets and all of that, it becomes a no-brainer for the artist to go, you know what? Why aren't I sharing this with my social media? Boop. And they hit that tap and it goes right out to their social media. Hey, I'm going to be live on Friday at 7 p.m. And then on Thursday, they go, I'm going live tomorrow. And then they get an asset that goes, I'm going live in an hour. Come see me on Trubify. The fans are a lot more incentivized to join when they know that they're supporting the artist directly. And for the fans, it's very exciting to have this intimate closeness with these artists now, because it's real time. It's all happening in real time. That's what's exciting. You're not just watching a YouTube video that happened yesterday that was uploaded. You're talking to your art. And when you'll see it, the artists and the fans, they're talking, they're interacting. So the fans are typing and sending emojis and requesting songs and tips. And the artists are going, oh, Michael, I'd love to play you Voodoo Child by Jimi Hendrix. Yeah. Let me go get the Fender Strat. Hold on, check it out. It's very engaging. It's a very close relationship. And also they take you backstage. They take you to sound check. They take you on the tour bus. So it's just a very intimate experience. So the fans that we do have, they really love the Trubify experience.
Yeah, and it is that kind of authentic, organic scene, because it's not like, because it is live, it's not like it's process edited down. Because I know that when, Surf Monster wanted to do that thing that you mentioned earlier, it took a little bit of, okay, when I push this button, we got to be ready to go, because it's happening as soon as I push this button.
I think my biggest frustration, though, in general, is the content distribution system of the world, where the eyeballs are controlled by big tech, and they do not want you to go outside of their platform. They want to take Trubify, purchase it, make it part of their system, so that people will be in everyone's selfish about it. So artists either have to essentially bribe the company by paying them, or they have to find super creative ways to cheat the algorithms and beat the algorithms. Like, how do you punch out? Like, when you have a closed system, Trubify, and you're trying, but all the eyeballs are currently out here, right? Like, and so even if I share it on Facebook, they're going to be like one viewer for me personally. And I've had millions of followers on the internet before, and now I don't. Google Plus deleted all of them. They're gone, right? So like it's frustrating to me. And so when I hear people say, oh yeah, just share it on your social medias, I'm like, yeah, no one's going to see that unless I pay for it. How do you fix that?
Yeah. So 2 things to point out. One is, these are those boosted posts I talked about. So we want to, again, we don't want to spend our money. We don't want to give Facebook ad dollars. We want to give you, the artist, the ad dollars. So instead of me spending $100 for a post to push on Facebook. I'd rather give Michael $100 and have him promote his band directly from his Instagram or whatever his account is, his Facebook account. So, and this is a total game changer, right? Because if we're actually covering marketing budgets or a portion of marketing budgets, it's an artist by artist basis, depending on the engagement of the program that we have you in. But it's a total game changer, because as long as you're willing to pay the piper, meaning if Michael spends $100, Facebook will push that post until that $100 is gone, right? So that's fine. So, and it's a different story than when it's happening, when it's coming from the artist. And there's another thing that we're doing, which is, I don't want to give too much of features away in the future, but we're developing right now a fan rewards feature. And this is a reward where you earn, just like credit card miles, every dollar you spend, you earn rewards, you earn cashback rewards. We have fan back rewards. So fans are also going to earn rewards for consuming content and engaging with their favorite artist. That becomes really exciting. So, you know, we're really looking at all the different ways that we can really add value to not just the artist, but also to the fans. Also these exclusive contents and different things, the programs that we're running with the artists.
Well, and to Matt's point, though, as far as big tech goes, and I mean, business is business. Everyone's got to get paid. Yeah. We get that. But let's say Trubify grows to 3 million, users. Are you, you're not going to become a Facebook and start kneecapping reach within your 3 million, are you? Or,
Well, I can tell you this. We have our ethos and our company pillars, our brand promise, and our brand culture. And one of the, not just one, the first one is, we're an artist first platform for the artists. And again, it's always nice to make a living, but I'm doing okay in life. And we really want to support the artist. We want to do something. What I want to do is, I want to be able to look back on my life and say, we did something that helped the artist, that changed the artist. I believe in giving back. I believe in doing something. I've been very blessed with the opportunities I've had in the music business. I had to work really darn hard for them. And, but tech hasn't really solved problems in music. And there was a big opportunity for that. So for me, I get a lot of the reward from, I get all of these items back here. These are all gifts. Where are we over here? I get, if you ever watch any of my streams at Stevie, at Trubify, every week I open 1 to 3 fan gifts. I get gifts from fans. These are usually artists thanking me for the platform. All sorts of things come in. The artists are so grateful. For me, that's so rewarding to be able to really, someone has to shepherd the artist. And I don't want to say, let me clarify that. I don't think I'm the shepherd. I don't think we're the shepherd. The platform is the shepherd. The platform is what's doing this for the artist. The business team came together and we wanted to change the lives of the artists. That's always been our focus. That will always be the focus of the app.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this: is as far as the paid advertising thing goes, what if I don't know how to run good Facebook ads? What if I'm because you can spend a lot of money on Facebook and get nothing out of it. So how do I learn to do that for myself?
So a lot of our artists are primarily on Instagram now. Instagram is taking out a lot of the share of Facebook. A lot of the Facebook artists or users tend to be in a different demographic. So Instagram, a lot of these people a lot of these artists actually do have some knowledge. But again, we create all those assets for you. We actually optimize those assets, and we'll work with our partnered artists to make sure that they're optimizing those boosted posts. We have our growth expert, Sami Khan, was a growth expert from Acorns, who's a huge company now. Yeah. And he also was the growth expert from Honey, which was acquired by PayPal. And he really, really, really knows how to optimize these ads. So we'll work with him, just like we're working on creating a streaming optimization guide and a monetization optimization guide. We'll also, and an engagement optimization guide. We'll work on a marketing optimization guide, because the artists need someone to hold their hands. It is true. And again, I want to calibrate expectations. The artists have to do some of the work, right? We're doing a lot of the lifting. In fact, we're doing the heavy lifting for the artist, but the artist still has to show up and do a little bit of work, but it's well worth their time to do it because of the return.
Have you talked to the Indepreneur people over there? My friend, have you talked to any of the people at Indepreneur?
Oh, no, not yet. We just started.
Well, no, I was going to say my friend Corinne Campbell she's one of the founders over there, and she is really great at direct marketing. So that might be a person, like, she may already have some things that you can implement or whatever for the marketing part. That's the biggest money hole, is wasting marketing dollars. And I think artists are terrified of it. That's why I'm bringing it up, you know.
I would love if after the podcast you sent over a little intro for us. I would love that.
I
That'd
would be
great.
glad to do that, and I'm sure she'd be glad to talk to you. Yeah, absolutely.
That's Kingdom of Rock, getting people jobs. Hilarious.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, no, listen, but that's what it's about, because so, you know, this goes back to the community aspect. To really build something of value and consequence for the artist community and for the fans, we have to come together. We have to be a community. It can't be me cutting off your head to make myself look taller. And that's what Trubify is doing. We're working together. We're supporting the artist in every way possible. We even have a guy on the team that, with our partnered artists, he'll get on the phone and help you set up your gear. I mean, again, we don't do that to everyone in the universe, but if you're serious about your career, you really want to make music your career, you want to monetize, you want to focus and develop your talents and your business acumen, we want to help you, you know? So with those artists that are taking their career serious, that's what Trubify is for. I mean, it's for everyone, but those artists are going to really get the most out. It is you get out of it what you put into it. Whatever you're willing to invest, we're gonna double down and really help you build a career.
Well, one thing that Matt and I have found out when we have interviewed people, whether it's Corinne or other people who have been successful at this, you know, you do have to work super hard for your success. So, you know, no one is trying to hand you a magic wand and everything happens. And Trubify is not that either. But I want to step back for a second, because you obviously had, you know, the inspiration to do this. But, you know, some of the things that is frustrating to all artists, and Matt has brought this up as have I, it's like, so we've been around for a while in the music business. There's been other artists who have been musicians themselves who have had to do, like you and most people, you know, just busk or, you know, work at a restaurant or to get their career together. But nobody has really done kind of what you're doing. You know, why do you think nobody to this point has given really a crap about actually sustaining the artists that they actually come from, which is weird to me?
I know. It's weird to us too. I think there's a couple reasons. One is that some of these other attempts have been, I think, a little greedy, if I'm being frank. Their business models weren't in the favor of the artist. We give the artist the lion's share of the revenue. And I don't think that all their platforms do that. You know what YouTube does, you know what, you know, others do, and I'll leave it at that. Mm-hmm. And then another reason too is that we're looking at this so differently. We're looking at this because of my experience building technology in financial technologies and in influencer technologies, and my partner's experience in building customer relationship management tools. And no one's looking at a cohesive way to integrate existing technologies that people haven't thought of using for music before. So this is a kind of a side example, but it's like just a user experience example. You go live on, you know, actually, I'm not even going to say it because I don't want anyone to pick up on it until it's a launched feature and we've captured people's attention with it. But we have a feature for artists that's coming out that no other platform's done, and they're not thinking the way we are. They're not looking at Trubify they're not looking at their streaming app as a customer relationship management tool. So if you understand sales lifecycle management, you understand customer relationship management, start thinking about that and how those other products, which have nothing to do with music, how they could serve the community, the customers, the artists, and the fans. Those are the terms we're thinking of. We're thinking of financial technologies. We're thinking of influencer marketing technologies. We're thinking of customer relationship tools. So it's a totally different. The Trubify on the outside is a really cool live streaming app, but in the guts, when you lift up the hood and you get under the engine, it's tools. It's digital tools, and that's why I think some of these other apps and products haven't worked. Is they were short-sighted in their business approach. They wanted to be a live ticketing system. They wanted to be a streaming platform. They wanted to be and we think Patreon is great, but they wanted to be a Patreon. No one's looking at an integrated digital concierge that manages the business demands of the artist in the background of their lives automatically, automated. So that's the big difference.
Well, there's and there's the technological side, and then once again, as a punk rock hippie, there's also the the intentional side. Like if you're building a business that kind of builds those things, which is great. Streaming on the face of it, great. Patreon on the face of it, great. YouTube on the face of it, great. But if you're not paying for that, I mean, like we said here that, I am mad at musicians because we handed YouTube all our stuff for free. We didn't say you're going to have to pay us before you can sell ads based on what the content we're giving you. But those things were built, like you said, as businesses, and I'm not beefing that, but it's just interesting that your team, I mean, I can't believe you're the only, it's just weird that you're the only one that's actually looking out for people. There's got to be somebody else out there, but maybe not.
I mean, we sat down and we said, how do we serve the artist? I mean, that was, we had to, so this is what we did actually. We didn't start with a business model that was very profitable, and then said, what can we do to make an exciting product for the artist? We started with, what does the artist need? What does the fan need? What do they want? And we started talking to artists, both celebrity artists and everyday Joes that are playing at coffee shops and restaurants. And we had to understand, and we are those guys. We were those guys years ago, the team. And we had to look at what are the needs and the wants of the artists and the fans. And okay, so in magic, and so this is actually how I operate, a little into my mind. I always say, I have a magic wand. And if I could wave the magic wand, what does it look like? And that's what we did. And we built what we would want built as artists ourselves if we could wave the magic wand. Then we said, how do we build a business model around this product and features that's also profitable so it makes sense? Because if it doesn't make sense, then we're out of business too. And we were able to do that. So most places, I think the chicken and egg, they build the business model and then say, what are the features that are going to, drive that business model? It's the other way around. We built the features and the product and then said, what's the business model that'll drive the features and product?
I like that. Well, I think, I'm definitely going to try it out. I would love to. I'm actually writing an album right now. I'm going into the studio in 3 days to finish up my first track. I would love to try it out, and I need to woodshed. So my idea as a metal guitarist, is I like to just put on drum tracks and just like rip it up and see what I can come up with. It helps unlock things, and that seems like it would be a fun experiment. So I think I'm going to try it out.
There's people up there now doing that, whether it's metal or funk or rock or whatever. I mean, I think that's the joy of just being able to really get behind an artist's brain, and the clams sometimes, and the attempts that almost make it but fall short, are as entertaining and instructive as like a completely cleaned up video track where every mistake has been scrubbed out of it. I mean, I think that's one of the nice things about this too. It's really live, so you get the artist's essence and the clams and everything else.
And I want to address a couple things on that. Jimi Hendrix, who I adore, said, I've been imitated so well that my mistakes have been perfected. Right. And we all know that, you play Voodoo Child, you play one of these songs, they're not always what Jimmy intended to play, but it's what came out and it's what was magic. And, Vogue magazine, they airbrush every model, they take 10 pounds off, they lighten this, they do all this stuff. People are getting sick of that. People want to see real, right? I mean, the world's been going that way over the last couple of years. We see that. And what's more exciting now than seeing a perfectly polished auto-tune performance is an artist that's really cutting their chops. They're really working on it. And you'll see the fans, they love the real, raw deals. We have an artist, he's great, Shane Hall. He won Best Blues Artist of the Year in San Diego, I think last year or the year before. He live streams from the studio. So he'll go into the studio, he'll just set up his phone and click go live. And you should see people love watching behind the scenes footage, right? It's not always about the big stadium shows that are perfect and a million hours rehearsed. Those are great too, and you'll see those on Trubify. But there's also some magic of picking up the guitar and saying, hey guys, I'm going to work out some stuff. Actually, people love it because they want to see into the art. It's like a thing now, you want to see into the artist's writing process. I want to see into your woodshedding process, right? You're going to see that when you go on Trubify. It's intriguing. It's interesting, right? People aren't streaming that type of content right now. And and you can do a show and you can do all of that. But to also just get into the raw, picking up your guitar and you know what? I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to have fun. People love it.
Okay, sold.
So you don't have to woodshed for 16 years to make your Trubify debut, Matt. Just saying.
That's right.
So I probably won't be alive back then if you take 16 years to practice. Just saying.
Well, speaking of which, in the future we're having professional vocal, piano, and guitar teachers coming on the app and live streaming lessons. Mm-hmm. And the live stream lessons, you can set up one-on-ones and all sorts of cool things. And those are other ways that we support the community. Another thing that Trubify does that's so magical, we talked about the AI, ML, artificial intelligence, machine learning, influencer marketing component. Imagine seeing a guy playing those 4-chord Jason Mraz songs and going, gosh, I wish I could do that. And then realizing you could tap a button to learn more about where you can get a $99 beginner guitar and get a free lesson on Trubify that'll teach you how to play those 4 chords. I mean, we're really there to support everyone. A Gallup poll did a study, and they found that something like 30 million Americans wish that they could play an instrument or sing, and if they had the opportunity, they would. And it's one thing when you see an ad for, hey, have a music lesson. It's another thing when you see a guy live. So that's one more point. Live has a totally different impact. So if you ever watch the Super Bowl the next day, it's just not as fun. The energy is different. It's not the same. But when you're watching it live, there's something about experiencing it live with your friends. And so you're watching music being created. You're seeing the guy jam the Hendrix or the Clapton or whatever it is. And it just makes you, I cannot tell you how many times on my stream I've had someone say, man, I wish I could play that song. And I'll say, well, why don't I get on and, get a $99 guitar. You get a $99 guitar and I'll teach you the intro to Voodoo Child or whatever it is, right? And people are like, really? Like, that's where it gets so fun. And again, this goes to show you the intimacy of the fan and artist interaction and why it's so different when it's live.
Couple of ideas that kind of spurred. What if, well, I would, first of all, I'd like to offer, if you guys would like me and Mike in a panel of subject matter experts on whatever topic, music industry you guys want to put together, I'm sure we could put together a panel and stream it for your people if you guys want to do that. We have quite a few people that could help out other artists.
I'm actually on the app, so I could stream it anytime you want.
Well, yeah, but you know where he isn't? He's not on Clubhouse. I don't know. How did you get him on Trubify before I could get him on Clubhouse?
Hello, everybody. I'm on Clubhouse now. Just stop, okay? Just stop.
He waited until Android came out.
Yeah, well, this is a thing too that I should bring up. Just for journalistic ethics. I was introduced to Stephen and Trubify because actually in my other gig as a journalist, they were looking for some help for some writing. But because I'm a cranky old punk rocker and I've seen a million of these things constantly shoved down everyone's throat, this is better, do this, do that, I'm a genius, I can help you, blah, blah, blah. I did go into, a little bit cynical, and Stephen and I had a frank conversation about, I really wasn't a huge fan of the website initially. But, when I heard Stephen talk about this, then it kind of said, oh my God, and once again, this isn't a blow smoke up Stephen's beautiful butt type thing here. And I'm not an investor in Trubify. I don't have any reason to say this other than the fact that I love what they're doing. But, I was so not gonna buy into this thing at all. But it has become something that I am a complete evangelist about, and I'm trying to tell every friend I've got, not only just for the extra money, but for the fact that finally, punk rock hippie such as myself has found a community of people who are actually supporting musicians in a way that's open and nurturing, and how can I not love this thing? So trust me, get involved. It's free. You're going to love it if you get involved. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. Trust me. And send me, everyone knows my email. So, send me hate mail if I'm lying to you, but I'm not lying to you.
The app is free. It's free for artists and fans.
If you got past Mike, I honestly, dude, I was skeptical, and I still am a healthy skeptic as a business entrepreneur. You should be, right? But I think if you got past Mike, I didn't research you deeply because of that. Because I was like, if he got past Mike, he's definitely done something cool. So I'm very impressed with the platform. I'm going to check it out this weekend and see what I come up with. And definitely anything we can do to help you guys get the community healthy and strong, let us know. We'd love to be a part of it.
And that's really the thing. We have to reach out to everyone out there who watches Kingdom of Rock, everyone I know. We build this together. We don't.
Exactly.
Trubify cannot pull this off unless we all decide that this is groovy for everybody and we support it. I mean, that's one of the things I love about this too. It's like, it's our responsibility to build this app to the point where we all make good money or good engagement.
And that's why the business model is different, because we're not spending millions of dollars tooting our horn on Facebook. We're giving the money to the artists. And for that to work, we've got to build it together. It absolutely has to be a community. And Michael and Matt, I'm totally going to take you up on your offer, because we're building a program right now to bring artists on that go into, like, you can imagine like an American Idol-esque competition where they're going to get seen by great people, such as great judges and mentors such as yourselves. And you guys are going to help vote on these people. And we're going to pick artists that we're going to sponsor and support and really help them with their careers. And this is going to be an ongoing thing. So everyone's going to get their chance at it. They're going to all get their, 15 minutes of fame. Because, we want the people. It's really about the community. It's really about the community. When we started the company, one of the other co-founders, Crystal, who I mentioned, she said, we're not building an app. We're building a culture. We're building a community. This is different than just a company. And I said, that's exactly right. And every time we bring people on, it's funny. We don't have a hard time finding employees or finding developers or anything. People want to work with us because once they get to know us, they hear our ethos, they understand what we're doing, they understand the model. They go, these are the guys I want to work for. And almost everyone on our team is a musician. And as soon as they hear about Trubify and they see it, they go, I totally get it. I totally get it. It all makes sense. All the dots in the light, dots connect and the light bulbs go off.
Well, I'm going to put on my Matt Gibson hat for a second, or my Matt Gibson hair for a second. And
so you'll look better.
Well, there's that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But now I'm going to just have a moment of silence for that comment. Anyway, business-wise, though, I'm a little confused. There's no ads in the app or anything at the moment. I mean, so how do you support this from a financial situation? I don't see any way that you're actually making money at the moment.
Right. So there's a couple different things. One is we actually have integrated pre-roll ads, same as like you see on YouTube, those 6-second skippable ads, but we're not rolling them yet. We don't want to roll them until we have a very significant user base, because we want to make the experience just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful for all of the early adopters. At some point, you have to monetize. Secondly, the investors are funding this thing. This is being funded by it's being backed by a lot of amazing investors that really believe in our team, the product, the vision, but they also believe in the music community and they want to support the music community. These are some of our guys are musicians themselves, and they want to give back. They want to do something. So the investors are funding these activities. And also our tipping revenue, I mentioned, we take a small cut of that. The artist gets 80% of revenues after we pay the fees to the royalties, and we keep 20%, which is pretty humble, and that's very transparent. If you go on our website, there's a page called Transparency. You can learn all about the revenue breakdown. That's another thing that we were applauded for, was we're sharing our business model publicly on our website. We're telling people how we make money and how much money we make, because we're really in this to help the community. We want to be totally transparent, and we're showing everyone where the money's going, and the lion's share goes right in the artist's pocket. We show you how and why and all of it.
What?
And I'm still wearing. Let me just say, I'm being you, Matt. So let me ask you another question.
Okay,
Sure. With that here, by the way.
Yeah.
No, Matt's here.
It's curly. Yeah, I know, not my hair. Of course not. Go for the curly haired guy. Fine. But, I know from working in the publishing industry, both music and content publishing, man, it is brutal to go after licensing. And
it is.
The fact that you're saying, if I want to do a Beatles song on Trubify, I don't have to worry about it being taken down. I still make my money for being the artist. But I mean, I can't imagine that you've been able to get all these publishers to say, yeah, okay, that's good. You can. We're going to let you do this.
We have several blanket licenses already signed, and we have several in negotiation. And I don't want to put a time frame on it because some of these things take time. But our intent is to have 98% of the globe's music catalog represented on Trubify, and there's pretty much not many songs you won't be able to play. So we have several licenses already signed, and we're negotiating the rest of them now.
Well, all right. One last hard question. You made me think of a hard question. Well, actually, two.
And actually, let me say one thing. Actually, on that note,
yes.
When we first started negotiating the licenses, some of the publishers were just like, "No, we don't want to work with you, or we want everything. We want all the money in the universe, right?"
Right.
And we said no. We said that defeats the whole model of giving to the artists. Right. That's the problem with the music industry. In fact, this is the problem. And they said, "Well, then why should we work with you?" And I said, "Do you realize that right now on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube, people put in the comments section, if you like what I'm doing, Venmo me at, PayPal me at, or Cash App me at." And all of those revenues, billions of dollars a year, are being circumvented. And Trubify solves that problem because we have reporting that goes to the publishers and to the PROs, performance rights organizations. I said, and so now, instead of your revenues being circumvented, you're all going to get your fair share. And they went, like all of a sudden they realized, oh my God, we're missing billions of dollars in revenues. And Trubify is also serving the publishers and the PROs and the music community. We built the model so it's a win-win-win for everyone.
Okay, so 5 years from now, when you guys are a unicorn and Spotify comes up and says $10 billion with the little pinky, $10 billion.
$10 billion.
And that's your price. Like everyone has a price. My chairman of the board talks about it, but he actually built an ethics review board to keep him from selling out to the wrong, and making bad decisions for the users, right? Because of like data sovereignty is something Ahura is really big about, right?
Yes.
And also Neural Tunes. So what do you guys think about data sovereignty and what rights do people have over their data? And also what do you do when somebody offers you $1 bajillion and wants to just suck you into their ecosystem? And
$1 bajillion.
Right,
so there's a couple. So there's great questions again. By the way, you're not throwing the easy questions at me over here. These are but I'm glad you're addressing it because this is what's going to build the community. People want to know these questions, and this is why they're going to help us build this. So on data, first of all, I have another app that I developed that pays you for your data. And the way this works is YouTube and Google and Amazon and Facebook, they're collecting your data, and you get a free platform to look at cute cats or to find out where the restaurant is at that you want to go to. Right. But they're making an average of $2,000 per American annually on that data.
Right.
So we built a platform that says, hey, we want your data too. We're going to pay you for it. And so we give you a daily survey. There's 4 questions a day. The app is atm.com. You can check it out. And it stands for ant transaction machines, meaning little tiny pieces. How the ants bring little tiny pieces of food back to the colony, and it grows and it grows and it grows. Same concept. So every day you're asked a couple of questions about yourself. You can choose not to answer, But as you answer and we learn more and more and more about you, we start presenting you with offers from brands and discounts and cashbacks and different things. And no one's obligated to do anything. All we're saying is all these other apps you're being marketed to, and you're not getting anything for your data. On that app, we're asking you the questions flat, bluntly, outright, but we're paying you for the data. And people are earning, revenues from this. So in that concept, that's one of my backstories, that we believe that you should own your data. And in our terms of service at Trubify, you in fact own your music. All of this is, we're not taking control of it. And when we do use your data, it's transparent of how it's used, and we're using it to monetize your career. We're using it so that you can monetize. So we have a very different approach to data than the big data companies. We believe that it's your data and you have a right to it and you should monetize it. Number two, what happens when the bajillion-dollar offer comes? So luckily, when these offers come and M&As, mergers or acquisitions happen, first of all, if we IPO, then we stay in control of the company, so we don't have to get acquired. We can also do an initial public offering and go public and stay in control of the company. If we did do a merger acquisition with one of the bigs, one of the things that you can stipulate in these types of events are that the founding team stays on board and retains a certain level of control over the product and the business. And I can't imagine that this team would just want to walk away and just let one of the, lack of better terms, vampires just suck the blood of the artist again. Because at what point does that even make sense? And if we have a profitable enough company for someone to want to offer $1 bajillion, we have a profitable enough company to either keep going with it or to make a deal where they can take the company, but they can't take the vision.
Yeah.
That's a very good answer, and I'm impressed by it. Thank you. That was. I'm not going to say it was better than I expected, but you said the things that I was hoping you would say. So that's great,
really,
man.
When I tell you that we're artists first and we're built by artists for artists, I really mean it. I really mean it. Those guitars behind me have hours and hours and hours on them. I've sweat and I've bled and I've cried over music, and that's no joke. Music saved my life. When I was a teenager, life was rough. I was bullied, and I went to my room and I locked myself in and I took it out on music. I have hundreds of songs I've written. I have literally tens of thousands of hours. I mean, I was playing 6 hours or more a day, and that was my life, and that was my escape. So music is more valuable than people realize. I want to say one thing. This is interesting. If you historically look at cultures and societies, Maslow's hierarchy, right? Mm-hmm. And like the basic needs of, food and shelter, and you get up, and at the top is self-actualization. And you start getting into the arts and creativity and music and these higher things. If you look at cultures and societies, the ones that have flourished versus the ones that have been deprecated, or the ones that have just fallen apart, all the ones that have flourished put a great emphasis on the arts and on music. Mm-hmm. And you know what? I want to go back to that renaissance of putting an emphasis on music, because music changes lives. Music changes people. Music is an international language. I can take someone in 5 countries that don't speak English, and I can make them laugh and smile and dance, or make them cry and weep just by the melodies I play, right? There's so much that music can do. Music bypasses the logical brain and goes right into the heart. So when Sam Cooke is singing "A Change Is Gonna Come," man, that stuff is impactful, because you're hearing the words, you're getting the message. The brain is receiving all of these messages, right? But it can receive it because it's going into the artistic side of the brain, not the judgmental, logical side of the brain. So this is really why music is so sacred and special, and we have to cultivate it. It's something that we have to bring this music renaissance back, and we can do it through technology. That's what Trubify is about.
That's awesome. Because
all right, brilliant. That is brilliant. Well, we are getting close to the.
But let me just do this as we're getting close to the hour. I just want to thank the people who have wanted to comment.
Mike,
Jack Crawford.
Mike, you're breaking up a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe that's my big Italian voice. So just wanted to thank the people who have commented. Jack Crawford, JJ Meter, Shewa. Looks like some Jimmy. That's a relative maybe of Stevens. Same last name, at least.
That's my daughter. She's a wonderful artist. If you get a chance, see her on Trubify. She's just
okay. We'll check her out. Wesley Sapone. I am Jord. And let's see, Wesley, and Caesar, and Dolores. Thank you all for tuning in and commenting.
Thank you all for joining the podcast. It's truly been my pleasure and privilege. Michael, Matt, thank you so much for having me. Can't wait to have you guys on Trubify. Let's build this music community together. Let's change the lives of the artists. Let's support the fans. Peace, love, and music to everyone.
Well, unlike Matt giving me crap about Clubhouse, I've actually become on Trubify before him. So now I get to tell him, it's like, what's taking you so long to get on Trubify, dude? What's the matter with you?
I don't have your cool music industry friends. I'm sorry. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Well, hey, so I did want to give everybody a last round the horn here. So, Steven, do you have any closing words?
I think those were my closing words there that we just dropped. I can't think of anything more important to say, but to invite everyone who's watching this podcast, please join Trubify. You can download it from the Apple App Store, the Google Play Store, Trubify, and look at the website. And you know what? Join the app. Come check me out. Message me. I love to interact with everyone. You have a brilliant idea for the company. Let me hear it. Let's build this thing together. We're a community. Let's do this.
Awesome.
Mike, any closing words?
Well, just that everybody can call me a butt-kissing nay-nod or whatever you want to call me. But, you know, I like I said earlier, I'm suspicious of everything. Most musicians are. I get it. We've been screwed so many times by everyone from a small club owner down the street to big business and big tech. But this is a cool thing. I totally believe in it. I want all the Kingdom of Rock and certainly everyone I deal with, you know, to become a part of it. We can build this together and we can make sure that we control not getting screwed by big tech. So there you go.
Exactly.
Matt.
Well, all right. So, Steven, thank you so much for being on the show. I love your product. I'm going to check it out. I'm going to talk about it. Let's have a side conversation about a few things. I think we have a lot of synergies that we can work together. I would like to invite you on Clubhouse every Monday at 6 p.m. Is that right? Yeah, 6 p.m. We have a room called Tech Startups for Musicians and Creatives. And we basically help musicians and people that are creative take their ideas from conception to how do you turn that into a company, a tech startup? How do you get funding? How do you talk to investors? How do you build? So I'd like to invite you to be a part of that. We'd love to have you come talk about Trubify to our community of musicians. We're building a pretty big community on Clubhouse right now. And let's see, every Wednesday at 4 p.m. we have a live stream like we're doing right here. And thank you again for being a part of the show. So Trubify, Steven. Oh my gosh, how do you say your last name again?
Tyszka.
Tyszka.
Yeah, you got it. All
right. We got it.
Matt.
I'm not a professional broadcaster like Michael. I'm sorry. You know.
You're kidding me. You guys are awesome. This was really great. This was great.
Thanks again for taking the time. We know you're busy. We're going to say goodnight, Kingdom of Rock.
Peace and love.